Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to continue talking about the Pythagorean theorem with real 3D solids and real world problems. Okay, so we can have a Pythagorean, or we can find right triangles in 3D solids. So I can see kind of that we have a right triangle right here. Okay, so this is a square-based pyramid. Okay, usually this would be labeled a little bit better with like tick marks and stuff. So this is 16. So when we pull the height down, we always pull the height down right in the center of that square, okay? So therefore we know that this length here is 8 because it would be half of the base of the square, and we know the whole side of the square is 16. And then again, this is our 90-degree angle, so this must be our side C in our Pythagorean theorem. So again, we're going to use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we're going to go ahead and solve for all of those for our letter C by plugging in our values. So we'll call A 8. So we have 8 squared plus 15 squared equals c squared. So remember, we're just going to go ahead and type all of that wonderfulness into our calculator. So 8 squared is 64 plus 15 squared, which is 225, equals c squared. And 225 plus 64 is going to equal 289. And if we go ahead and take the square root of 289, give me just a second, I'm going to turn in, well, let's do it this way. Square root of 289, second square root 289, which would be 17. Okay, so C is going to equal 17. So I should be able to give you a solid today of some sort, and you should be able to tell me what is all of the lengths. Okay. So we can do the same thing with a cone. We can see that we have the height of the cone here. Let me do that in a different color. We have the height of the cone here. We have the length of the cone, and we have the diagonal of the cone. And again, remember, C is always across from the 90, or the longest side here. So we are trying to find the side of A. So we have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Again, we don't know what A is, and that's what we're trying to figure out. So we'll have 7 squared equals 18 squared. Remember, if you would accidentally put the 7 here and the 18 here, you would get a negative number, and we can't have negative numbers for the sides when we're trying to take the square root. So if we go ahead, we'll have a squared plus 49 equals 18 times 18, which is 324. We're going to go ahead and solve for a here, so we'll subtract 49. So we get a squared equals 324 minus 49. Is equal to 275. And if we go ahead and take the square root of 275, which I believe is not a perfect square, but it's always good to check. Some long decimals, so we can just go ahead and leave it as the square root of 275 for now, okay? So we'll square root both sides, so we get a equals the square root of 275, which is approximately 16 point. We'll just say approximately 16, I don't remember what the decimal is, okay? All right, let's look at a cube here. Okay, so in this cube, we actually have these two triangles. So we know in the cube, all the side lengths are 2, okay? But we don't know what this red line is, and we don't know what this blue line is. But our goal is to figure out what both are. Well, I can see my triangle here, okay, with the blue line here. So this angle, if I draw with a different color here, is the right angle because that's what we know about cubes. So we can solve for the blue line. So we're going to solve for the length of the blue line. Okay. So we have A and B. So we have 2 squared plus 2 squared equals C squared. So we're going to have 4 plus 4 equals C squared. So we have 8 equals C squared. And if we take the square root, C equals the square root of 8. So I know the blue line is the square root of 8. Well, now I need to find the red line. And if I look at this, I have a triangle, which I'll draw in pink. We have this line with the blue line and the red line. It makes another triangle. So I had to find the blue line before I find the red line because we're using the blue line to find the red line. So again, this would be my 90-degree angle here. So my red line is my line C. And we know that the height of this square is 2. So we're going to have 2 squared plus the square root of 8 squared equals C squared. Well, 2 squared is 4. Now, the square root squared just cancels out. So this is just left with 8. And if you type that in the calculator, you would get that as well. So if I typed in the square root of 8 times the square root of 8, whoops, make sure sometimes you have to shove it over so it doesn't end up below like that one just did. Depends on the calculator you're using though. 8. We get 8 out. Okay. So if you're ever not sure, you can always type in that calculator to double check. But that will help. So 4 plus 8 will be 12 equals c squared. So we're going to square root both sides. So we get c equals the square root of 12. So the red line is the square root of 12. Okay. All right. I don't have another one for you. All right. I hope this video finds you well, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.